Oops. Forgot to hit the record button. At least I noticed before we got the entire match done with. Hi, YouTube. We just played against a blue-red artifacts deck. It was kind of interesting. Now we're going to get to see more. Okay, well, Smoldering Egg still felt pretty good. Most of the problem, or rather, most of the awkwardness came from Patchwork Automata being a very cheap big threat with Ward 2 that's hard to kill. And I don't really have a good way around that, other than I guess Cinderclasm technically sort of could kill it. Well, it's a 1-1, but that's a really narrow window, and I don't know what I'm cutting to actually accomplish that. I think we can get rid of Disdainful Stroke. That one at least seems easy. I guess I don't know that I have too many things that are better than Cinderclasm. Wait, in what way does Mirror Shell Crab synergize with their deck? Because it's not like Enthusiastic Mechanaut or Discover the Formula make it cheaper. And it's not like casting it is good either. That one I'm actually, not sure what's going on. Howdy, Sidetrack, how goes it? Thundering Rebuke seems really bad, but I think that actually means I'm supposed to board in the Cinderclasms. I think there's a pretty strong chance that it could be kind of not helpful against their deck, but it does hit Lizard Blade, it hits Rabbit, it hits Patchwork sometimes. That actually probably is enough targets that I'm not going to get stuck with it in hand and having it be totally useless too often. What's the worst that could happen? We never draw red mana? Game's going pretty good. We've been playing against a bunch of aggro decks, which is kind of what I assumed the Alchemy metagame would be. And we've been beating them, which is kind of what I hoped this deck would do. So thus far, would consider that a success. Fateful Absence, can you hit artifacts that aren't creatures? No. Alas, I have nothing I can do here. That is awkward. Alright, well, Smoldering Egg number 1. We're going to try not to die before the opponent kills us. And as long as we succeed at that, we will have technically accomplished a tautology. I should have created the Mind Link Mech before casting that, right? Yeah. Whoopsies. Where did you get that stylish Hinata alt art? So if you right-click Hinata in the deck builder screen to look at all the alternate arts, it opens up a window that will show you available alternate arts for purchase, and you can just purchase it directly from there. There was not a sale or anything, but that is how you get all the alternate art from the Neon Dynasty cards, as far as I'm aware. So they discarded a Rabbit Battery to the Key to the Archives, which gave them some spell of unknown spelliness. And a Godfather. How goes it? Mindlink Mech, all crewed up. Alright, I would like to attempt to remove it in response. Did you get a counterspell, opponent? Alright. Successfully not dead yet. Tezzeret. Oh, does the opponent think the crab works with Tezzeret? Because it was bugged, and that did work for, the first week. But it wasn't supposed to work, and now it no longer works. Tezzeret's first ability does not actually reduce the cost to activate channel from artifact cards. Because ability of an artifact technically means ability of an artifact permanent. Okay, well the cool news here is that I do get to Galvanic Iteration. Oh wait, let's technically do this on their upkeep, I guess. I want to give them the opportunity to forget they can crack that clue with the Key to the Archive here at the end of turn. Wait. Oh! Tezzeret makes clues not cost mana to activate. Wow, that's spicy. Okay. Well, I guess it actually worked out that I waited, because now they can't draw that card and have a counter spell off of the Key to the Archive. Alright, let's bounce this. and bounce the Tezzeret, transform the Smoldering Eggs. They had the counterspell, but didn't counterspell the Divide by 0. Wild. Okay. Well, I'm definitely going to bounce the Tezzeret. I feel like they also chose the wrong card to save? Surely it was better to keep the Tezzeret in play than the key, right? I guess maybe not, but I would have thought. Key is technically more mana, yeah, but it's also a trigger on Patchwork Automaton. Oh, you can use Tezzeret to make that into a big boy. Cute. Okay, I'll take 6. Is this permanent? Yeah, it is. Yowzas. Okay. Well, I'm definitely not pinging Patchwork Automata down with Ashmouth Dragons on account of every single ping costing 2 mana. Brittle Blast. Opponent. Yuck. Wow, that Hall of the Storm Giants is gonna be a problem, huh? Kinda dead to another Brittle Blast. Or at least very, very close to dead. Alright, on their upkeep, we're gonna Galvanic, ping down the Tezzeret. I would prefer not to Behold the Multiverse yet, because there's like a chance that they play Rabbit Battery, and then I can ping down the Rabbit Battery. But for the most part, I think I'm just chump blocking Hall of the Storm Giants here. Yep, activation of Hall. Swings. Pass to blockers and chump block first of all. Then we Behold, ping the opponent in the face. Not super interested in lands. Hinata's super helpful. Now we are interested in lands. Oh, another Fateful Absence is actually stellar, but I need an untapped land in order to be able to cast Hinata into Fateful Absence on the Patchwork Automaton anyway. The second Fateful Absence represents having a Fateful Absence for Hall. I suppose I could just not play the Hinata. No, I kind of need the Hinata to chump block, don't I? I do think I take the Fateful Absence, though. I just have to really hope for another land. Yowzas. So where does this put me? Oh, I can't just cast both Fateful Absences, can I? Because Hall of Storm Giants has Ward 3. Oh. So that actually puts me at dead. Well, that's not great. Suppose I should have bought him the other Fateful Absence and not taken the risk. Ward is a heck of a drug. I didn't have enough life to keep the Shatterskull, so not an option, unfortunately. Well, that said, the way that game played out made me like the removal decisions we prioritized in terms of sideboarding. Well, most things get easier when we're on the play. Does this hand get better on the play? Certainly would be better if one of these two lands was untapped, but maybe we'll just top deck untap lands and then I don't have any problems. Or we could top deck tap lands, but you know what? Top decking lands at all? I will accept any top decked lands. It does make life slightly easier. Shock. Enthusiastic Mechanaut. Ugh. That's harsh, opponent. They've got like infinity mana now, and I don't have a red source to kick this Cinderclasm. Okay, well that's just reality chip. I can live with that. They don't have mana. Well, that kind of helps me a little bit. Unfortunately, the Moonsnare prototype's still annoying, though. Because they can actually crack a clue off the Fateful Absence here, and I'm not really about that. I wonder if there's a chance that they might reconfigure Reality Chip to try to make land drops, and then I get to Fateful Absence to target the Mechanaut in response? Maybe? That'd certainly be a happier use of my mana than whatever else I could do here. I wonder if I'm supposed to cycle this Magma Opus. Moonsnare prototype, number the next one. Means no blue mana. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to cycle this Magma Opus, as unfortunate as that feels. Having the second red source really is useful. Unfortunately, Cinderclasm is one of the least useful cards we could top deck in this spot. I guess we're just gonna ship it again. Try to put the opponent in a spot where they equip the Reality Chip and give me an opening to use Galvanic Iteration that doesn't result in them immediately drawing, or use Fateful Absence that doesn't immediately result in them drawing a card. Lizard Blades. Okay, sure. We can kill that with a Cinderclasm at least. Oh, that only costs generic mana to reconfigure. That's cool. Oh, and you can tap the Lizard Blade and then reconfigure it? That's also cool. Okay, there's the reconfigure at long last. So we get to punch the Enthusiastic Mechanaut. No more cost reduction for our opponent. They get a clue. And then we get to Cinderclasm at the end of turn to kill the Lizard Blades. More counters on Smoldering Eggs. Red source. Okay. I probably should have Cinderclasmed here and attacked for 8. That was a mistake to not do that damage and represent lethal next turn. Kind of forgot that that was an option. It wasn't... Well, I guess we could have used the treasure to do that, and I probably still should have, even if I didn't top deck that red source. Okay. Tezzeret, sure. Opponent makes a 4/4 attacker, sure. Opponent attacks with a 4/4 attacker, sure. No blocks. Damage. Alright, end of turn, Cinderclasm. Yeah, definitely bad of me to have not done this on their turn. I think if I did this to face, I could put them to 1, but I think I'm better off just clearing their board. I don't think putting them to 1 is good. Putting them to dead here would have definitely been better, though. And I think we want to just kill the Tezzeret and shoot our opponent. And we're going to hold the land in hand in case we top deck Unexpected Windfall. Okay, opponent does not have a lot of mana to work with, which hopefully keeps them from doing something meaningful. Unfortunately, Townraiser Tyrant is exceptionally meaningful. We're going to decline to sacrifice that because we do want the red source. Okay, thank you, deck. Good enough. Whee! Alright. I made that a lot harder on myself than it needed to be, but we got there regardless. Alrighty, what do we got? We got some eggs and no mana. Alright, deal. I'm sure the problem with my mana isn't going to actually be a problem. In the standard metagame challenge, had a control mirror where opponent boarded into hermits and stowaways, boarded into 4 eggs. Guess how it turned out? Yeah, having tested that iteration of sideboard plans enough, I have become of the opinion that it turns out pretty good for the Smoldering Egg player. Non-organic automatas are creature cards too. That's true. And I suppose you can planeswalk with those, couldn't you? Although there aren't really any planeswalkers who do that besides, I guess, sort of Tezzeret. Huh. Even Saheeli doesn't have, like, a face robot buddy. And Karn. Yeah. Karn, but when Karn wasn't a planeswalker and Karn was a robotic multiverse pal, the rules were kind of different back at that point. Like, literally the rules of the universe got changed since then, I think. Kaya planeswalked with a person in the War of the Spark novel. Really? How does that work? Or what's the, like, idea supposed to be there? And I'm going to go grab a kitty cat. Plenty of time to spare. But for the awkward part, we do have to Fateful Absence at sorcery speed to stop it from becoming night. We do have a kitty cat. Oh, you're just burying in there, huh? Oh, Bonnie, you should definitely crack that clue token. I would love it if you did. She can ghost form to take them with her. Yeah, that's definitely not how that works. Or at least isn't supposed to be. Oh no, Rabbit Battery Lizard Blades. That's a synergy opponent. No! Ah, my life points. Not a terribly huge fan of missing this land drop, if I'm being entirely honest. But at least Divide by Zero with Smoldering Egg is still really good. Because we do get to go get environmental sciences, and that's generally regarded to be a cool thing. Are the alchemy cards more powerful than the standard cards? Sometimes they're weaker, and the end result is a completely different metagame. It is weird. The alchemy-only cards are generally stronger than the standard cards, except for the alchemy cards that have been nerfed that are stronger than their standard equivalents, like Goldspan Dragon. Yeah, Townraiser Tyrant's annoying. Decline to sacrifice. Okay. So we will Environmental Sciences. Thundering Rebuke is a pretty decent draw. I think I want to get the red source here for Windfall. Even though I've only got one blue source, so that kind of hurts. We get to punch the Townraiser Tyrant and punch the Rabbit Battery. And then hold back the Ashmouth Dragon so that I can block a whatchamacallit, Stormseeker. Hey, look, a Stormseeker. Hey, look, I'm blocking a Stormseeker. Yeah, they can technically trade with Ashmouth Dragon now, post-combat, but that's still a 2-for-1 that I'm supposed to take, because at this point, I'm winning on resources. decline. Alright, I think I'm supposed to go with Unexpected Windfall, discarding Behold the Multiverse, and just hope to hit my next couple of land drops. Seems like a success in the short term. I'm gonna have to pay a lot of life to keep this pathway around if I want to cast Magma Opus, though, which hurts. Anyone else getting stream lag? My bitrate looks fine, and we haven't dropped any frames, so that might be on your side of things this time around. Alright, Lizard Blades, sure. My turn, decline. Perfect. Never don't draw the lands. Rahilda's going to be a 2/2 regardless, so it's still going to die to Magma Opus, so I can wait until after they play cards to Magma Opus. What you got, opponent? Nothing? Okay, well in that case, 2 damage, 1 damage, 1 damage. Tappity tappity. Yeah, I was wondering if that was about the spot where conceding made sense. I would say that is definitely a victory for the Smoldering Egg game plan. Let's go with Cinderclasm and Thundering Rebukes, and probably like trim a Behold the Multiverse and a Disdainful Stroke. And what else? I mean, I guess I could trim a Galvanic Iteration, technically. And, like, do we just trim more card advantage at that point? Like another Behold the Multiverse, or possibly an Unexpected Windfall? Oh no, all of my cards are too good. Kind of think maybe it's supposed to be Fateful Absence, but like that doesn't seem like a great idea. But I don't think I can go down too many 4-drops with Smoldering Eggs as a 4 of. Alright, so we try to play Egg on 2. That seems like our objective. This is a stressful hand. I feel like it would be a mistake to keep this on the draw even if I had Magma Opus. And also I don't have Magma Opus. It would, however, probably be a better hand to keep if this Shatterskull Smashing was a Spikefield Hazard. So then at least I could hit a Rabbit Battery or a Lizard Egg. Or Lizard Blade. No, I think that's got to be a mulligan, which hurts. This is also rough, but at least it's technically has like a game plan of sorts. The 4/4 has more text than you would expect, because a lot of the times even just making red opponents' cards cost more is a pretty big deal. But unfortunately, a lot of the times... yeah... well, that's going to kill me. I've got like 12 2-drops in my deck specifically because of Rahilda. But not today. Fateful Absence. That's a brutal card to have gotten stolen. No red source, huh? Okie dokie. The awkward thing is if they find a Hinata, I like have to counter it because my deck can't beat Hinata. They immediately found a Hinata. Alright. Hopefully they don't bother playing it. I also found an egg. Terrifying. They play a Hinata, which is annoying because my deck can't beat Hinata. So now I need to top deck a red source. Okay. Windfall found. Okay, so the game plan here is to Windfall, draw Hinata, cast Hinata, then Magma Opus. Cinderclasm, I can live with that. Jeez. Okay, so I cannot win anymore. Well, I could find Galvanic Iteration and copy Cinderclasm kicked. Technically. But that's like the only thing I can do here. Galvanic. No, just a Windfall. Yuck. Can't play Hinata. Opponent just removes it. Okay, so I think I have to Smoldering Egg. And Cinderclasm away the Rahilda. I could Unexpected Windfall. But I don't actually have anything I can discard is the problem with that. So I'm just taking 4 damage from the Hinata here, which is super fun while I'm at 6. Hinata is much too good against my deck. I wish my opponent hadn't. I'm literally gonna die to a single card, aren't I? Like 1 Rahilda on turn 2 and I didn't have an answer to it, so I die. Unfortunately, this Bloodthirsty Adversary kills me, and there's no way I can stop that. Well, I can try to Cinderclasm and see if the opponent doesn't realize that they can still cast a spell from the graveyard with Bloodthirsty Adversary in play. Maybe. That might work. We shall see. Unfortunately, the opponent knows how their card functions. So we do die. Alright, this time around, let's try to draw one of our, like, 12 2-drops. 3... Yeah, I guess I only have 10. Fair. Only 10. Perhaps it's my fault for cutting the Fateful Absence on the draw. I probably shouldn't have done that. I can probably cut it on the play, but not on the draw. Yeah, alright. I think that's a reasonable mistake to have identified there. Seems we have trouble finding double red. We have, like, troubles with all of our colors. We're definitely not playing a deck that is kind to its colored mana base requirements. This does not seem like a keepable hand. This doesn't either, but sure, it's like literally the same hand, so why not? What could go wrong? Kumano, that sucks for me. Hinata, that's good for me. Would like if my opponent didn't play the werewolf. They didn't play the werewolf. Radical. Oh, that's just downright awesome. Okay, we're going to Sorcery Speed Behold the Multiverse in case we hit a tap land. We're going to... it hurts bottoming Magma Opus here, but I just need to hit 4th land drop as much as possible. We do hit a tap land. Okay. So next turn I can play Windfall. Oh, game? Okay. Yeah, there's a Stormseeker. Sure. That is a lot of damage. Like an absolutely ludicrous, absurd amount of damage. Totally true. Totally, completely true. We Windfall. Alright, and now we try not to die. Which we might fail. They could certainly kill us here. We have not successfully interacted yet. Yeah, Downraiser Tyrant was the best possible card they could have had. So 8, 10, 12. Okay, good game. Unfortunate. Was it really not enough? I mean, Fateful Absence wasn't even good against that because they didn't actually play creatures on the first 2 turns. But what we really needed was Egg. But Egg did not show up in time. Admittedly, a Braid would be better in that exact position than Thundering Rebuke, but Thundering Rebuke is a lot better against 4/4 dragons than a Braid is. Awkward. I mean, it's... Both games 2 and 3 involved us mulliganing, attempting to find interaction and just totally failing. And realistically, I know the deck doesn't lack for 2-mana interaction. We just... got pretty unlucky in that sense. I suppose I could have jammed Hinata on 4 instead of trying to set up for Hinata plus Opus with protection. Or rather, without a moment of being vulnerable to the opponent playing a removal spell. Yeah, that might have been better. That might be a matchup where my opponent's representing too much power on board for me to try to take it slow. Because I'm also dead in that spot to... Well, I'm not actually dead in that spot to a... another Stormseeker, but I'm close to it. Which kind of gives me an incentive to just play Hinata. I feel like the likelihood is pretty high that if they end up blocking, or if they end up attacking and I block with Hinata, then they just play a 1-mana burn spell on Hinata. They pay 2 mana for it, but they're fine with that. Does my life get easier in that situation in a world where I'm not playing Behold? Yeah, if I'm interacting with my opponent for whatever reason. Did I have the option to play Egg instead of Behold? I don't recall whether I did, but we were missing our 4th land drop, so it was important that I didn't. Maybe I had to just... Maybe I can't afford to dirtle around with Unexpected Windfall in that position, and I just have to play on curve and hope to top deck the lands, instead of taking the time to guarantee the lands. Maybe I can't afford that tempo loss? That might be the lesson there. Maybe. Alrighty, we'll take the play. Once again, we do not have an untapped 2-drop, which is painful. But we do have 3 lands, Hinata and Magma Opus, which, you know, feels like a plan. Okay. Hopefully they don't end up playing a cost reducer here on 2. They don't. Excellent. Ooh. Well, Thundering Rebuke's pretty interesting, but I don't think I need to Thundering Rebuke the Kami of Transience here. Maybe I'm supposed to because they have the Generous Visitor. Jukai Naturalist. Okay. That's actually a problem. Oh, alright. Cool. That was, I guess, sort of polite of them to split that up. Jukai Naturalist being an enchantment is kind of silly, if I'm being entirely honest. And unfortunately, we do not hit the untap land, so we probably lose here. I think I gotta go for Kami of Transience, unfortunately. I would love to hit Jukai Naturalist, but I think there's too much of a risk of me just dying if I leave the Kami in play. Slightly less likely they kill me. Oh, cool, I can't even play Hinata because I have 3 Jwari Ruins. So even if I draw an untapped land, I can't hold up Fateful Absence. That's horrifying. I would define this as a bad spot to be in. Runeforge Champion, hope they don't have a land drop. Oh, it doesn't matter because it costs 0. Right. Well, that probably kills me, right? 9, 10, 11... Okay, only puts me to 1. You know, provided they don't find more runes. Okay, only to 1. I can't actually do anything about that. But, okay. I'm not sure whether that's more of a loss to my opponent's deck or more of a loss to my hand turning out to not function. Not totally clear which is more at fault there. I feel like I'm having a hard time telling if their deck is aggressive enough that A-Alrund's Epiphany isn't worth bringing in, or dirtily enough that A-Alrund's Epiphany is an important combo piece against them. I'm assuming I'm not supposed to bring it in. I also assume Smoldering Egg is kind of weak enough that I'm okay boarding one out in order to make room for more removal. Maybe I'm supposed to cut like a Behold for more eggs? I don't know. Unclear. The curve they had was definitely strong, but I think if I had played Hinata on 4 and then untapped with Magma Opus up, there was a pretty decent chance we could have won that game. But not only was the colors of the mana not functional, but the 4th land was tapped. Okay, this is fine-ish? Fine-ish. We're going to start on Jwari Disruption because we need the blue mana. Opponent has to mulligan a bunch. That's a good sign. Turn 2, foretell Behold the Multiverse. Turn 3, play Shatterskull Smashing, tap, cast Behold the Multiverse. Hope we don't have to Fateful Absence a mana ramp creature. Wait, didn't they have to? Oh no, they were on the draw. Right, so they already drew one. Okay, Thundering Rebuke, not embarrassing. Much better than Fateful Absence, and lets me play a Shatterskull Smashing tapped instead of playing a Sundown Pass this turn. Magma Opus is fine. Jukai Naturalist, sure. So we're going to move to our end of turn, and then Fateful Absence the Jukai Naturalist, so our opponent doesn't get their creature back. Because it only checks if a creature died at the beginning of an end step. Turn 4 Hinata makes most things okay, but it's especially nice against this list that can't really super conveniently interact with the cost increases. Okay, that's sort of fine. We can Unexpected Windfall, discarding, I guess, Jwari Disruption here. Or I can just divide by 0 something, depending on what my opponent plays. Wedding Announcement. I don't really want that to enter the battlefield. But I also kind of want an Unexpected Windfall, if I'm being entirely honest. Oh, I can probably dirtle around for a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go to 5, 6, down to 5, cast Teachings. So Teachings doesn't really work. We'll grab Mascot Exhibition instead. Hinata? Oh, that's exciting. This should mostly be fine. Maybe they kill Hinata. Not the end of the world if they do. But it would make me sad. They do. Makes me sad. I wonder if it's worth boarding in Negate against them. Does hit Showdown of the Scalds. Hey, cool, more Hinatas. I'll play that. Opponent is free to play Showdown of the Scalds if they really want to. It's a painful use of all their mana. And Showdown is not the world's most impressive card when there are no creatures in play. Okay, so we can probably Magma Opus to kill that Jukai Naturalist after they play it. I think that works. Probably. Oh, is that a Snakeskin Veil? It is. That's awkward. Alright, so... not jamming Magma Opus unless we have to. I'd like them to play the Wedding Announcement so that I can Magma Opus and kill the Jukai Naturalist. That'd be fun. Borrowed time. Oh, right, and that costs less. Yeah, that sucks. Alright, well, let's force them to use the Snakeskin Veil. Yeah, okay. Well, we could just top deck Jwari Disruption so that we get to save our Hinata. That's cool. I'm on board for that. Galvanic. Windfall. Probably discard the land. I do like drawing cards. Okay, divide by 0. Do not dislike that at all. I can probably afford to have more white sources. We do have a lot of white removal currently. Do I want to divide by 0 the Jukai Naturalist to make everything more expensive for them? The answer to that's probably yes. Teachings, sure. Teachings, no? No, I actually probably want more mana, given that I have Windfall, Mascot Exhibition, and Galvanic Iteration right now. Which makes me slightly unhappy with the auto-tapper, but I think I didn't have enough to hold up blue there anyway. I guess it doesn't matter, because Paladin class makes Jwari Disruption cost 2 anyway. Alright. Functional. Okay, yeah. I think I'm supposed to cut the Smoldering Eggs for negates based on what we've seen so far. Maybe that's incorrect, but we shall find out. Okay, a lot of removal spells, a lot of slow inability to play a 2-drop on the draw. That's concerning. Can you copy my deck to play some best-of-1 games? Yeah. Actually, this build of the deck is probably very functional in best-of-1, so I think that actually does work out pretty decently. Let's go with Deserted Beach, and then I'm probably shocking Shatterskull Smashing. Okay, this is the Michiko's Reign of Truth version. It's really tough for me to tell which of these decks try to, like, go super hard on aggro. Ooh, don't even have to shock Shatterskull Smashing. And which try to scale slightly more into the late game. That's a good Jwari Disruption target. Whee! We're doing it! But my assumption is if my opponent's playing Wedding Announcement, I'm probably supposed to be playing Negates. If they're trying to go more late game, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to play the Negates. I'd like you to not have Wedding Announcements, opponent. I have a lot of cards in my hand, but I'm also about to cast a lot of Fateful Absences, which makes Teachings slightly better. I think I'm supposed to go for Teachings. I don't think the other cards are likely to be super useful against my opponent's deck. I'm going to hold on to Shatterskull Smashing. There's probably a chance that I can blow up 2 1/1s. I suppose I could blow up a Portrait of Michiko and a Wedding Announcement 1/1 token with Shatterskull Smashing. Is that, like, actually good, or is that kind of awful? It's probably awful. Okay, well, Unexpected Windfall is actually really interesting. And my opponent left up Snakeskin Veil, which has me kind of scared to try to Shatterskull Smashing. Not in love with Showdown of the Scalds at all. I'm going to assume I'm not supposed to have 3 Fateful Absences here. Ugh. Okay, we're going to have to go ahead and pop the Portrait of Michiko. Land drop for the opponent. Not excited about that. 2 cards in the opponent's hand. Jukai Naturalist. We get to kill that with Shatterskull Smashing. Okay, Hinata's pretty interesting. That actually makes the Runeforge champion at least not, like, disgustingly good, which is something. I think I'm just popping these now. I'm going to get to pump that 1/1 a lot, which I do not love. I guess I have the Fateful Absence for it, technically. Generous Visitor, okay. Another Generous Visitor. I was really hoping they were not going to be emptying their hand, though. Oh, not even going for the runes. Okay. I guess they can't. They just physically don't have enough mana to play all of it, considering they played the Generous Visitors. Okay. More Generous Visitors and a Valorous Stance for my Hinata. Opponent is extremely rude. Yeah, no blocks. I want them to at least have to spend all that mana. Jeez. Okay, Spikefield Hazard isn't helpful anymore. Land drop's at least interesting. I get to get rid of the human token. I'm probably extremely dead here, as near as I can tell. I think I'm, like, literally dead and I can't do anything about it. Behold the Multiverse was a pretty useless draw. Alright, well, yeah, unfortunately, pretty dead and I can't do anything about it. I'm gonna bluff Magma Opus and hope that stops the opponent from doing something. But unfortunately, there's like not actually anything I can bluff here to force them to play around it. I guess maybe I actually am supposed to play the eggs against this version of the deck. It's really tough trying to identify what Naya deck you're playing against. I think Egg wasn't worthwhile against the 4-mana enchantment spirit version of the deck, but I think Egg actually was good against this version. It's playing Wedding Announcement and Generous Visitor. So I think I misboarded and didn't identify that quickly enough. Unfortunately, because I'm extremely good at this, I forgot to hit the record button again. Let's see. Clerics. I kind of figure Thundering Rebuke's probably supposed to be fine. Amazed that you never mess up the Opus targets. I guess I have practice at it, because Wilderness Reclamation actually required you to do some similar stuff. Repetition does really make a difference. Okay, I don't want Disdainful Stroke. Also, I don't really want Disdainful Stroke in this format. I should replace that Disdainful Stroke with a Negate. We have seen, like, no Gruul aggro anymore, which was the main reason Disdainful Stroke was even sort of okay. I'm definitely just not supposed to have 4 Disdainful Strokes anymore. Yeah, I guess I could play A-Alrund's Epiphany, technically, although most of their threatening starts are based on them being an aggro deck. Smoldering Egg might not be good against clerics. I mean, it looked good there, but there were a lot of reasons that game looked good. What if I just cut Smoldering Eggs for Behold the Multiverse and A-Alrund's Epiphany? I would probably die. We should try to avoid that. The copied Opus does need to split the targets, yes. I have to choose the same number of targets for any copied Opuses. And I have to choose the same damage distribution, which doesn't really matter if there's 4 targets, but say there's 2 targets, and I deal 3 damage to one thing and 1 damage to another. I need to both... The copy needs to have exactly 2 targets, and it also needs to deal 3 damage to one thing and 1 damage to another. I couldn't do 2 and 2. The rules on copying spells with distribution and targets is kind of specific. His hand's pretty bad, so we'll keep and draw Hinata. That's a totally viable plan, right? We could also draw more Magma Opuses, but hey, that just makes the plan of drawing Hinata even stronger. Cleric of Lifespawn, sure. Well, when our opponent plays a Spellbinder, I bet I know what they're going to take. Oh, it's just a Pyre of Heroes. Cool, that's not useful. Jwari Disruption. Alright, alright. Not terribly helpful, but okay. Okay. Well, I'm assuming that means the opponent's getting Spellbinder. It is. Okay. They actually have a reason to take Shatterskull Smashing here so that I don't just Shatterskull Smashing the Spellbinder. Yeah, alright. No, that kind of tracks. Divide by 0. Ooh, that's fantastic. Good job, top of the deck. I'd like them to sack this Spellbinder to Pyre of Heroes. Ugh. Inquisitor Captain's kind of not exciting. You can add that back in your hand, opponent. Let's see. I would probably like Environmental Sciences to contribute towards flipping this egg. Unexpected Windfall. Oh, well, that's just beautiful. Okay, well, let's Windfall and flip the egg. and I guess have the Jwari Disruption. Nah, no attacks. I don't actually want to use this Jwari Disruption, so I'm not going to get to ping down the Spellbinder that way. So I might as well block the Spellbinder. They wind up captaining. They can choose to put something in play. We don't mind. Mostly we're just going to wipe their board with a Magma Opus. Raydane? That's like moderately annoying, opponent. Oh, they even get to get another Inquisitor Captain. Oh, no, they get an aura? Huh, okay. Oh, right, did this get nerfed? Yeah, it did. Okay, right. Forgot about that part. Well, let's see then. I choose X equals 4, it costs 8, which is rather a lot. Okay, well, what did I just pass? What happens then? I mean, I could Shatterskull for 1 to kill the Raydane. I guess I'm probably supposed to Shatterskull for 1 to kill the Raydane, huh? Let's get any creature back. Cleric, okay. And then we hold up Divide by 0. So if our opponent does some sort of scary nonsense, we still have a way around it. We're slowly working our way towards casting some of these opuses. Ever so gently on our way there. Aura. So they get 2 triggers, get back Spellbinder, Cleric of Life's Bond. Spellbinder takes Divide by 0, would be kind of annoying. Sorcery only? Okay, you know what? You can put an aura back in your hand, opponent. And we'll ping their face. Well, none of these cards are useful, so I guess I'll take Mascot Exhibition. Jonathan Ives, 213. Thanks for following. Glad you're enjoying the stream. Yeah, so you can, like, get back a Spellbinder, I guess, opponent. If you want to. It doesn't seem great. I'm operating under the assumption that the plural of opuses is opii. We shall see how correct that is in the long run. Yeah, you can definitely make one of my opii cost more. No, we're going for the Mascot Exhibition, huh? Alright, do we have 5 drops in the deck, opponent? No. Okay. I did not expect so, but you never know. Spikefield Hazard would actually be pretty good if I had, you know, more mana by 1, but alack. This is annoying. I don't want to kill the Spellbinder and the Aura at the same time. I suppose the simple answer to that is I actually just don't kill the Spellbinder, do I? Yeah, it seems viable. Opera? It's Opera. Oh. Okay. So we get to say that I have a handful of Opera? Well, I actually like that a lot. Have I started serious preparation for the set championship? Sort of. In the extent that I actually am relatively serious about this deck. That's good. Oh, he's got a voice like an angelic little ripcord. Angel of Unity, huh? Okay. How do we want to do this? I'm assuming that I'm just supposed to kill the aura, tap the pyre, and tap the spellbinder. And then just deal damage to my opponent's face. Cool. And we hit the untap land, which might make this lethal. Oh, I guess the Righteous Valkyrie I should have done in response to. That's fair. Oh, hey, cool, Hinata. Is that lethal? Tap down their board, deal 4 to their face. No, 6 to their face? Is that lethal? No, I don't think that's lethal. Okay, well, let's just kill everything then. Pop, 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 pop. I feel like killing my opponent's entire board here is still pretty decent. Oh, I'm not actually killing that cleric. Whoops. Oh well. It probably doesn't matter. Oh yes, I am. No, I'm not. I thought that removing the Righteous Valkyrie shrunk it, but that's not how this works. Okay. Angel of Unity stays around, opponent. Congrats. Now we draw the Galvanic Iterations? Oh, deck. That's far too rude. Yep, there's an aura. What you want to do with that, opponent? Anything relevant at all? Go and get a 3-drop. Okay. Spellbinder. Looks at my hand. Okay. Now, it wasn't a card I was considering casting. I was just going to cast a bunch of Galvanics and Spikefields, but yeah, fair. Fair. Oh, I like this deck. I like this deck a lot.